I'm sure you've heard me talk about 26shirts.com before, but just in case you haven't, let me fill you in. At 26 Shirts, they sell different limited edition sports-themed t-shirts every 2 weeks. After a shirt's prospective 2-week run is over, the design is retired and never sold again. They are operating out of Buffalo and now also offer options in Chicago. For every shirt sold, $8 is donated to a family in need. Not to a major charity or foundation, but to an actual family or individual in need. To show our support here at Chasing Cinema, when you buy a shirt, we will automatically put you into a drawing to win the next shirt free. That's right. You buy a shirt, $8 goes to help a family or individual in need, and you get a shot to win the next shirt absolutely free from Chasing Cinema. So go to www.26shirts.com and buy a unique Buffalo Sports Design t-shirt, help a great cause, and also get entered to win the next shirt absolutely free. Again, that's 26shirts.com, because you have the ability to help a complete stranger just because it's the right thing to do. www.26shirts.com. Help someone now. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to ChasingCinema.com's official podcast. Today is going to be a very different format than what we usually do here, but like I said, we're changing formats up. We're changing the way that the podcast works, always trying to do something different. So today, if you've never tuned in, well, thank you for tuning in the first place, and also make sure to hit the subscribe button on iTunes so each week our podcast is automatically downloaded to your iPod, your iPhone, your iPad, whatever it may be. Just hit that subscribe button, and each week you could hear me and my co-host talk about the world of motion picture. But today's going to be a little bit different. Right now, I am riding solo without my co-host, my loyal, faithful co-host / best friend, Louis Corzolo, is not here right now because I'm recording this by myself. Because what we're going to do is I'm actually going to take you live into my review of Disney Pixar's Inside Out, and then following that, I have a special treat for you guys. I have author, poet, and publicist of the Henderson Writers Group, Christina Willis, on to talk about her new children's book, Baja, Brody, and the Birthday Surprise. I am so excited to have her on the podcast later. So after the Inside Out review, I'll be actually sitting down with her, talking to her about her latest book, talking to her about her upcoming projects, and a lot more. So make sure to tune in for that. I'm so lucky to have her on. Before we get into that, though, I want to remind you guys that at CinemaCon, I had the wonderful opportunity of sitting down and talking to the co-directors and producer of Inside Out, Pete Docter, Ronnie Del Carmen, and Jonas Rivera, who I had to sit down for 10 minutes and talk about the world of Pixar, talk about Inside Out. And if you guys not seen that, before you read my review, before you go see the movie, go check that out, because it's really informative. It'll let you guys kind of really get an idea of how Inside Out is going to be, and it's also just really awesome. So make sure to go to youtube.com/chasingcinema, and you could find that video. When you watch it, great, and you'll also be able to watch our video review of Inside Out. But right now, what I did last night was I was at AMC Town Square, which I am pretty much every Thursday night for midnight premieres and all that stuff. So you guys, if ever interested, tweet us at Chasing Cinema and let us know that you guys want to come out for a midnight premiere. And I'm there. Mr. Superman is there. Sometimes Louis Corzolo is there, but we're always out there having fun, promoting movies. And then afterwards, I shoot a live review. And you guys sometimes have heard that, I'm sure, on this podcast if you are longtime listeners. But I will shoot the review in front of a group with the camera guy on me and everything like that. And because I did it by myself yesterday, which is also really rare, I wanted to bring that to you. I mean, it was pretty much me talking about how I felt about Inside Out. So it's pretty much exactly what I would do right now. So why not beat the odd man out and just bring that to you? So the sound quality might not be spectacular, but that's okay because, you know, it's live. You know, it has that really great feeling of like, oh, it's live. It's now, you know, Bill O'Reilly, we're doing it live. I mean, that's what happened, you know? That's what's going on. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this week's podcast. Make sure to go check out all the fun stuff that we do, especially ChasingCinema.com, the hub of everything that we do, our YouTube, our video reviews, our written reviews, our interviews, everything is available on ChasingCinema.com. And then after that, you'll actually hear me again do a little introduction as I talk to author Christina Willis, who is a poet and recently wrote a children's novel called Baja, Brody, and the Birthday Surprise. This children's book won the Reader's Favorite Book Award. A phenomenal book. I've known Christina for a very long time. It's weird calling her Christina because I call her Tina. I've known her so long. She's an amazing lady. She's taken this book and reading it to a lot of the schools out here in Las Vegas in the local area. She's doing a book signing July 25th at the Writer's Block at 1020 Fremont Street. So make sure you go check that out. BajaBrody.com. You could find a ton more information, but that interview is going to follow my review of Inside Out. So make sure to stay tuned for that. She's an amazing woman. I'm so glad I was able to interview her. She was actually the woman that introduced me to writing. I talk about it more in the interview, so I don't want to go in the whole story because you're going to hear it again, but she eventually led me to what I do now. She essentially helped me find my passion in writing, and I owe her a great deal of thank you. So it was an honor for me to sit down and help her promote her book, Baja, Brody, and the Birthday Surprise. And she's also the publicist for the Henderson Writers Group, and I was able to talk about that and promote that as well. So it was a real honor for me to do that and help promote her. So tune in for that as well as soon as the review of Inside Out is done. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jacob Toronto of Chasing Cinema. Let's go review Inside Out. Everyone, and thank you for tuning in to ChasingCinema.com's official YouTube channel. I am here at AMC Town Square, Las Vegas, all by myself to review Inside Out, as Mr. Shu is being detained right now, so to speak. I am here watching a movie that I've been waiting for anxiously for a very long time, especially since I actually had the opportunity to sit down with directors Pete Docter and Ronnie Del Carmen, who directed Disney and Pixar's Inside Out. We're kind of in a weird time right now with Pixar. Pixar's kind of had a bumpy road. Their last couple films, Brave, Monsters University, Cars 2, have all kind of been okay, but not have received nearly as strong of a reception as the past Pixar films. Disney Animation, however, has gone on without Pixar to make Tangled, Frozen, Big Hero 6, Wreck-It Ralph, I mean, really strong films. So everyone is kind of looking at Pixar, expecting them to really pick up the pace. And from what I've seen of Inside Out, I think this is the movie to do it. Like I said, I had the opportunity to sit down with the co-directors of this film, and as well as the producer, Jonas Rivera, and you can watch that video on our YouTube channel. You can head over there and watch that video to kind of see all the things we talk about. But getting that insight and speaking with them, I have a lot of faith in Inside Out. It's a movie about emotions, it's about growing up, and of course, the unlikely bond that we usually see in Pixar movies. I mean, ever since, Monsters, Inc., Toy Story, we have these relationships that aren't supposed to connect, and they eventually do. And this one takes us on a journey with joy and sadness, two completely opposite sides of the spectrum of feelings. So I want to see what journey they take us on. I'm also interested in seeing the short in front of Inside Out. I haven't heard much about it. I know it's called Lava, and I'm really excited to see that. Inside Out runs, I think, at about an hour and 35 minutes. I'm really excited. I'm ready to, disgust, joy, fear, anger, all those emotions I am ready to explore in this film. So let's go check it out right here, right now. AMC Town Square. Let's go. Hello everyone, we just got out of Disney Pixar's Inside Out, and remember earlier, before we went into the movie, that I said I think this is the movie that Pixar is going to make, that's going to tell all the doubters to be quiet, have everyone sit down and shut up. Well, I don't like saying it normally, but I was right. Inside Out was not only Disney's best Pixar film in some time, not only one of the best movies of the year, but is seriously a near perfect animated film. I loved every minute of this movie. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Well, first of all, we have an all-star cast from Bill Hader to Amy Poehler to Phyllis Smith. Everyone is just on point in this picture. Lewis Black also does a great job. Plays Anger. But this is a movie that both visually and thematically are beautiful. Visually, we have this wonderful world created. When I was interviewing Pete Docter, he explained to me that this was the most difficult movie they've worked on because they had to literally create the world around us. And though creating this world is fun and it's interesting, and you know how these memories are in control of our emotions, and we have these 5 emotions that are just controlling how we feel. It all makes sense. I mean, I understand it more than how I understand how actually emotions work. I think as people, we always assume we know how our emotions work, but we never really do. I mean, we sometimes feel things and don't know why. Sometimes we have mixed emotions, and this movie kind of really explores that in a very, very wonderful way. But visually, we go through some really, really wonderful moments. We go from 3D animation to even 2D animation, which is a really cool transformation. Our main characters go from these beautiful 3D animated characters to simple 2D lines and squiggles, which is really awesome and a really great moment in the film. It's absolutely hilarious. Phyllis Smith from The Office, who stars as Sadness in the movie, is as odd as that sounds, is absolutely hilarious. She made me roll over laughing in the picture. Amy Poehler is also great as the happy, joyful character named Joy, and their chemistry really, really drives this picture as we go on this journey to kind of get these characters back inside the head of our main character, Riley. And Riley, of course, is at the age of 11, who's going through her growing up phase. And as she is taken from her hometown and moved to San Francisco, she's dealing with a bunch of emotions, and all the emotions in her head are all trying to figure out how to deal with it. But, as I said, as much as it is visually stunning, this movie is thematically beautiful. I mean, this movie is a tearjerker. You need to bring tissues because it'll make you sad, it'll make you joyful, it'll scare you a little bit. This movie explores all of those emotions and really kind of brings you into that world to help you understand your feelings a little bit better. There are some really great moments in this picture that really kind of took my breath away, just about family and about how just feelings in general, something we really don't talk about. Again, to the interview, Pete Docter talked about how this movie kind of inspired about as he watched his daughter grow up and how she became kind of the joyful, goofy little girl into more of a more quiet, to herself girl she was growing up, which happens to pretty much anyone growing up. They go through these phases, and watching Riley, the young girls who all these emotions live inside her head, go through that is quite interesting because we all could relate to it. That's what's great about this movie, is we could pretty much relate to everyone in this movie, every emotion, the main character that we're following, and we get to explore some pretty awesome ideas along the way. There is one moment that I think is extremely powerful. I won't get into it, but essentially it takes place in this memory dump, where once you've kind of forgotten everything, all your memories fall into this dump and eventually fade away. And if that's not true, I don't know what else is, because how many things do you think we remember and we don't remember? And just the thought of this creation of worlds that we're able to explore where our memories go, how our memories are saved, it's just really, really well thought out. I mean, Ronnie Del Carmen and Pete Docter did an amazing job with this picture. I absolutely loved it, before I give you my rating and just give the whole review away, I really want you to go to ChasingCinema.com/InsideOut to read the review yourself. So this is one of the longer reviews that I've ever written, but I just had a lot to say about this movie. I enjoyed every minute of it. I want to go see it again this weekend. But to put it simply for you guys, this movie has been the second best picture of the year. Easy. Very close to Mad Max Fury Road. Don't know if it actually beats it. I don't know if I can say that just yet. But these two are the movies of the year. I mean, we are already in mid-June, going into the end of June, which means we're almost halfway through the year. I know it's pretty crazy. I was thinking about that today. Almost halfway through the year, and what are the best movies that are out? Mad Max Fury Road and Inside Out. These two movies completely blew me away. They were phenomenal. I know you should stop talking about Mad Max Fury Road, since I should be talking about Inside Out. Nonetheless, I want to know how you guys felt about Inside Out, because I'm sure, like me, you have a lot to say about it because I absolutely loved it. And if you guys want to talk about anything about it, let's do it right here in the comment sections below. I really appreciate you guys coming out here every Thursday to watch me talk about whatever movies are coming out. Make sure to tune in next week as Superman himself returns with me to review Seth MacFarlane's film's Ted 2, a movie that I think won't be as good as Inside Out, but, I hope they prove me wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jacob Toronto. Make sure to hit the subscribe button on this YouTube channel because each day I'm uploading movie news, movie details, movie review, video reviews, podcasts, all that fun stuff and so much more. Head over to ChasingCinema.com, the hub of everything that we do. Thank you so much for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jacob Toronto, and please continue chasing cinema. I'm so excited I get to do this. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to ChasingCinema.com's official podcast. You just heard my review of Disney Pixar's new film, Inside Out, which obviously I had nothing but great things to say. However, I'm going to take half of this podcast and talk to someone who means a who means a lot to me, and she's very, very special to me, and she just had a great accomplishment. I'm going to be talking with Christina Willis, author of the new children's book, Baja Brody and the Birthday Surprise. She is also the publicist for the Henderson Writers Group, and the Henderson Writers Group, if you do not know, hosts the Las Vegas Writing Conference for the past 13 years, so it's a huge deal, and we'll talk more about how I know her and why she means so much to me in a minute. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. And with me is author Christina Willis.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Jacob, for having me.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much for taking your time to come on and talk about your new children's book, Baja Brody. So, before we get into our conversation, I ask every guest on our show one particular question, and that is, what is your favorite movie? I mean, this is a movie podcast, but obviously you're special enough, and we're going to talk about your book, which hopefully might become a movie one day. Who knows? We'll see. But what is your favorite movie?
I love Jim Carrey, The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Wow. Ooh, that's deep.
It's romantic. Can't help myself.
Very romantic, very deep, very good choice. Okay, so let's talk about Baja Brody, but before we do that, you are a poet. How long have you been writing?
Well, if I were to go back to first grade, is the earliest poem that I have that I wrote to my grandmother. So I pretty much have been writing my whole life. Everything from poetry to, I even, help my kids do their essays. You name it, we've done it. And I'm working on my my memoir right now too. So I have all kinds of projects going. So just to be clear, though, we're going to be talking about her children's book. That's not the only hand she has in the world of writing. Like she said, she's a poet. She is writing her memoirs. So she is doing a lot right now. And for Baja Brody, which won the Reader's Favorite Book Award, you guys have to read this book. It's so great, so beautiful. It was illustrated by Ralph Thomas, and I think this is one of the most fun children's books I've read. Now, granted, I don't really always go back and read children's books, but I mean, this book has a great theme of just kind of letting your child use his imagination, his or her imagination, and parents embracing that. And before we get into that, though, I want to let you guys know that Christina Willis, who I know as Tina, so if I call her Tina, don't be confused, is going to be having a book signing July 25th here in Las Vegas at the Writer's Block, which is on Fremont Street. The address is 1020 Fremont Street, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89101. And you could find all of her events going on and her Facebook, her Twitter, all at www.bajabrody.com. So, Tina, let's talk about how Baja Brody came to be. So, from what I remember, well, let me do a little origin real quick. So, Tina is my childhood friend's mother, and I was pretty much living at her house. I was over there every day, or Joey was at mine, doing sleepovers, doing whatever we were doing when we were young, and I noticed that Tina would carry around what I think used to be called an Alpha Smart. Yes.
And she would write, and we talked about kind of writing, and this kind of gave me the idea that I could take the crazy imagination I had in my head and write them down and create stories and create ideas. And I ended up starting writing poetry because I think at the time you were really focused on poetry. And that's kind of how I got into writing. So essentially, the woman that's on the podcast right now is the reason why we're even listening to this, because she inspired me to write, which took me on the road of doing a podcast, of doing short stories, and then doing reviews, and leading me all the way up to this moment now of following my journey of writing. And now I am a full-time freelance a writer. So, I mean, all that is to you. So that's, before, we get in and talk about you, I just want to say thank you and I love you for everything that you've done for me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Jake, you make me cry.
No. So
it's all good.
Yeah, you were writing poetry at the time with doing Alpha Smart, and I know you've been writing, like you said, you've written poetry as far back as you can remember as first grade. So when did the thought of doing a children's book kind of come to fruition and that idea?
Well, actually, I've always wanted to kind of leave a little legacy for my kids, knowing that I have 5 kids, and I love kids. Everyone knows that about me. I'm everybody's mom. And I actually was at the Las Vegas Writers Conference 2 years ago, and I spoke with a screenwriter, author, who is amazing, and he kind of touched my heart. And he said, your memoir is a little bit too close to your heart right now, and maybe you should go do something fun. So it kind of prompted me to get in there, and I'm grateful to Paul Sonor. He encouraged me to go do something that would take all the pressure off of trying to get everything right. I'd been working on my memoir for quite some time. So that's how it came about. And I had thought about how fun Brody is and all the silly things that he does. And I thought, you know what? I could totally base an entire series on this child because he's crazy. But he's fun.
So tell us a little about Brody. How old is Brody?
Brody is 5 now.
Oh,
he's
okay.
5.
So when you were talking about this book, obviously he was around the age of 3. And that's exciting to know that Baja Brody and the Birthday Surprise is not a standalone book. It's actually going to be the beginning of a series. And actually, Tina is such a brilliant author that if you go on BajaBrody.com right now, your kids can actually vote on what they want the title for the next adventure to be, correct?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. How awesome is that? It's so interactive. You can go on Bob Brody. I mean, this is not just a story. So not quickly, but why don't you tell us what Baja Brody is about without kind of giving it away?
Okay, without giving it away, well, I wanted him to be able to play out like how his world works. And he is extremely imaginative, beyond the average person, I think, and the average kid. And so I decided to do a book where you could see the actual shadows of what he's thinking, but the pictures show what he's really doing. And so it kind of gives kids like a little bit of a layered type of learning tool. And, I just wanted to make sure that everybody had fun with it. So it's a quick read, it's a quick adventure, and it just shows how he has this love for his stuffed animal that we have taken all over the place. That stuffed animal's even been to Hawaii, several states, from, Texas, California, Utah, you name it. He's been with us on every vacation. And so it kind of just went from there with Brody and his stuffed dog. And in fact, he told me I could have him today. So I have Mr. Rufus right here. That is his real name. But and he's kind of getting old now. He's his day. But Rufus is a traveler with us. So I decided to use that as another tool. And his Baja truck love, before he was even born, we were very much into off-roading and anything to do with 4 wheels. So when he was born, he just was born right into it, and we never looked back. This is something he just loves to this day.
I was lucky enough to sit down and talk with Tina last week about this book, and I haven't seen Tina in a very long time because she's going off and creating a writing legacy, an empire, if you will. And I was able to read this book, and I absolutely loved it. Like I said, because and this is why I wanted Tina on this podcast, is because we kind of tie this into this world of Inside Out, where imagination and being able to explore imagination and emotions as a child is really, really important. And this book kind of makes that very apparent. The theme of this book of letting children explore their imagination and not limiting them and just kind of seeing where their mind takes them is a really beautiful thing. And I have to commend you on putting that in this book, because I absolutely loved it. And this is not, you rhyme the entire, you try their book. And that is, I love that. So, great book. Again,
keep poetry going for all the kids. Keep it going.
Also, guys, and if you want your own copy of Baja Brody and you're not in Las Vegas to get a book signed at the Writer's Block on Fremont on July 25th, you could find the book, of course, at www.bajabrody.com and Amazon.com as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it is available to you guys. You guys definitely need to check out this book. But what I want to talk about now is what's in store for Brody here on out. You know, we've had this wonderful adventure with him. We got to meet him. We get to understand him. So now where does Brody take us? In the next book, is Brody going to be a little bit older? Or what's next?
I've decided to keep Brody the same age because I love that age group. And they are the ones that have the greatest imaginations. You know, they can entertain themselves. He will be taking a little detour into the dream world for his next book. And, you know, he's got all kinds of, we have all kinds of things lined up. I can't even begin to tell you how many. So hopefully this next one will be introducing several other characters, one of which looks like you, Jake. So we'll be introducing Willie, Oliver, Mia, Jojo, and Zoe. So hopefully this will make it a little bit more fun and a little bit more diverse for everyone.
Okay, awesome. Well, I mean, I had a great adventure with Brody and his stuffed animal, so I can only imagine how much more fun it'll be when more kids join. I mean, this is a book that, you know, it's great for kids to read, it's great for parents to read to their kids, and it's the start of an adventure. I mean, we are going to go on an adventure in a series. Are you just going to keep going until you run out of ideas, or do you have a set number in your mind? Or
I'll never run out of ideas.
This is true.
Yes, I probably will just keep going until we decide that it's
until
enough.
Brody's in college and he's like, "Mom, you need to stop."
Right.
So I have to ask. So as you said earlier, you are the mother of 5 kids, and I've known you so long that, you know, Brody wasn't actually in the picture when I was at your house all the time. So did Joey or any of your other kids come to you and say, "Hey, Mom, look, like Joey, who's my age, I've been here for 23 years. I don't have a book with my name on it. So what's up with that?" Did you have that conversation? I have to know.
You were going to ask me that too. Actually, no. My kids are all super supportive, and you know what? Because he's the baby of the family, I think they just get it, and they know how crazy he is and the silly things that he does. So, no, they were all on board. In fact, they've been nothing but encouraging and supportive for me to just live out my dream and do what I've always wanted to do.
Well, that's great and very much expected, because like I've said, I kind of grew up in this family and have pretty much grew up with 3 of the children. I just met Brody last week, and it was, you know, I didn't read the book at that point, so meeting him was awesome. And then when I went home and read the book, I was like, oh my God, this really is Brody. And that was just really awesome, and it was a pleasure to meet him. But you guys get to meet Brody too in Baja Brody and the Birthday Surprise, again available on Amazon.com and www.bajabrody.com. So another thing I want to talk about is your poetry. Is there a place where you are storing your poetry or going to be publishing poetry?
You know, actually, I'm not doing that right now. I have an entire book full. I probably could, and I have a publishing company. I just don't have the urge. Some of them are, you know, very different and not something I probably want to share. But no, for this, no. I think this is where my poetry will lie for now. Those were journals that back when I first started writing when you were around, I wrote a journal through a child's eyes in poetry form. So it was about my son Blake, which you know Blake, and so that's kind of what really got me the ball rolling with the poetry in full force, where I was really enjoying that. So if I ever did, that would be the book I would put out. was his journal.
Okay. Well, I know that you have many plans and many ideas, and I'm sure this is only the beginning of like I said, the Christina Willis empire. But let's talk a little bit about the Henderson writers group, because a lot of people that listen to ChasingCinema.com are people that really like creative things, writing, drawing, all that stuff. So I'm sure we have a lot of writers listening, and we do have a huge local following. So talk about what the Henderson writers group is, and what it's about, and what you guys do and such.
You know what? It's we have several meetings for different things, but it's a critique group mostly on Monday nights. We have our general meeting out at the Community Lutheran Church at 6:30. It's down off of Tropicana, and we are on the Meetup. They can find us on the Meetup, and they can also find us at both the Henderson Writers Group.com and the Las Vegas Writers Group.com. So. I'm sorry, Las Vegas Writers Conference.com. Forgive me.
Go on.
No, go ahead. So what we're about is helping each other, critiquing. It's a fairly large group, and so you have plenty of ears to listen and help you and guide you. And we do everything from workshops, book club, screenwriters. We have several different, including a daytime meeting on Thursdays from 2 to 4 at National University. So there's something for everybody.
So I'll post those links below so you guys could find more information about the Henderson Writers Group. But I want to tell you guys, I attended a few meetings myself, and this is just a great group of people who love the art of writing and simply want to help. I mean, I'm pretty sure every writer in the entire world feels the same way about getting up in front of people and reading what they've wrote. And, everyone knows that's one of the most vulnerable moments ever, to just kind of read the things that you've jotted on paper or typed up on a computer the night before or years before. But this group is so supportive, and they want to give you advice. They want to help you succeed. And if you are into writing, I highly recommend checking these guys out and going to a meeting and really finding a supportive group, because sometimes, like myself, no one really that I knew wrote except Tina. I don't know anyone else that really writes like I do. So, the Henderson Writers Group is a great place to go and find that support and find that help. Sometimes you have either writer's block, or you're just maybe more like me, where you get writer's laze and you don't feel like writing sometimes, and you need that motivation and just to kind of go. And that's what you could find at the Henderson's Writing Group.
Yes.
So the Las Vegas Writing Convention, did that happen this year already, or is it coming up?
It's Las Vegas Writers Conference.
Conference, I'm sorry.
April, we just finished in April, so we will have one April 28th through the 30th in 2016. So
wow. You guys are already planning.
Yeah, we're already halfway full. So I hope if they're going to get in there, they get in now.
Oh, yeah. So definitely, guys, check out those links below in our description, and you can find the links to make sure if you do want to go. So what happens at this conference? I mean, what do you guys do that's...
We have a full staff of faculty who are all professionals, from publishing industry all the way to several different authors, everything screenwriters. I mean, you name it. Different genres, and people that will come in and teach. We have several different classes throughout the day where you can interchange and get the information from social media or anything to help you to further your career and to become a better author, because it's for people that are already professional and people that are just starting out and want to know, where do I start, what do I do, and where do I go?
Well, obviously you could tell how busy Christina Willis is, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of, I know it must be a crazy schedule, to sit down and talk with us here at ChasingCinema.com. Again, guys, make sure to go get your copy of Baja Brody and the Birthday Surprise at www.bajabrody.com or Amazon.com. You can just search Baja Brody and the Birthday Surprise. also, guys, remember, July 25th, Christina will be at a book signing at the Writer's Block down on Fremont Street. All that information I'll post in the links below. I believe there's a calendar on the website at BajaBrody.com you could check out and find whatever she's doing. So if you become an avid fan, you could follow her and get her autograph and have her sign your books, and you listen to her read, and then you could go to the Henderson Writers Group and, further your career. So, Tina, thank you so much for taking your time, for coming on and talking with me. Obviously, thank you so much for helping me find my passion in life. I love you. Thank you so much.
I love you too, Jake. Thank you so much. What a wonderful opportunity. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this week. Like I said, make sure to go check out BajaBrody.com. Also, check out ChasingCinema.com to read my full review on Inside Out at ChasingCinema.com/Inside Out. Also, make sure to tune into our YouTube page, where each day we are constantly uploading movie news, casting details, and trailer reviews, along much more. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jacob Toronto. I'm joined by Christina Willis, and please continue chasing cinema.